It's 25 minutes till 6 p.m. That's Central Standard Time, like the same time in Dallas or Chicago or Houston. We're right in the middle of the country. Actually, right on I-35. It pretty much divides the country in half. And I'm just about 2 miles east of I-35. So I'm at the, let me unplug you here. I had a battery cable holding me up. So I'm at 4 blocks north of the University of Oklahoma, where I studied as a graduate, got a degree in economics and money and banking. Never learned any of the stuff that's in Occupy the Need Act because they're not allowed to teach it. They don't even know about it. That's how they're not allowed to teach it. They don't even know. Okay, we uh, can create our own culture that we want. We don't have to live in the culture that we have now, the murderous Victorian Puritan city on the shining on culture that we live in that murders people all over the world and has for it's from its very beginning. Hell, Thomas Jefferson recreated the Marines. Did you know that? Thomas Jefferson. Yeah, he created them. We were having our boats attacked by the pirates from Tripoli, and uh, and I wonder what the hell were we doing over there anyway. And we uh, and to get a change of administration, change of regime, you know, Iraq, Baghdad, that kind of thing. Uh, uh, he created the Marines, put them on wooden boats, sailed them halfway around the world to occupy Tripoli and do a regime change. Uh, we've been at this shit a long time. Of course, before that, it was the Indians. You know, we had to take this land because they were occupying the land and weren't doing anything with it. So uh, it was ours. So we were going to do something with it. And in other words, we were going to make money for the people that we had put in power of us, which were the bankers. And we all know about the railroads and all the occupation and our murdering of the native population, uh, all because we had a right to. Well, we didn't have a right to. Let's see if I can do this. Okay. I'm just looking at my screen here and seeing that there's some printing on it that I don't even know what it is, so it doesn't matter. We've been alive now for 4 minutes. I want to talk to you about the NEAT Act. The NEAT Act takes the power to create money, which is the power to create a culture, takes it away from the bankers. The bankers are the ones that create this murderous culture that we live in, and we can take that power away from them. Their legislation is already written. It's ready for prime time. It's called the NEAT Act, HR 2990 of the 112th Congress. Yeah, look it up. And, it was done by former Congressman Dennis Kucinich of Cleveland, Ohio, who was very brave and followed the advice of his wife, who came here from England to do monetary reform. And they met, and she's a drop dead beautiful woman. And Dennis says, after the first meeting, we had exchanged phone numbers. And now, gosh, I can't remember her name right now, but I've stood right in the meeting of the American Monetary Institute and visited with her. And uh, so she helped lead Dennis Kucinich, who ran for president twice for the Green Party, uh, help him understand and introduce and give us the use of his staff and the staff of Congress to write the legislation and make sure it was fitting in with all other legislation. And it's been thoroughly vetted. It's ready to go. HR 2990 of the 112th Congress. Look it up. You can just Google it. It'll come right up. It's ready to go. It's 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 ready to go, and it does three things. First thing it does is it nationalizes the Federal Reserve and puts it in the Treasury where we think it is right now. But the Federal Reserve is not a part of government. Not. It is uh, a, it's owned by the private banks. And JP Morgan Chase owns almost half the stock in the Federal Reserve. So anyway, we're going to nationalize the Federal Reserve, put it where we got control of it with in our executive branch. Then we're going to end fractional reserve banking, which is the power that banks have to create money. You know, if all of us that have had uh, economics 101 know that the banks can have to have 10% reserves, and if they have 10%, then they can loan so much, and then they can loan it again, and then they can loan it again. That doesn't exist in reality. In reality, the banks need no reserves. In fact, that's even been put into law this last year that they need no reserves. And, and so there we go. Nationalize the Federal Reserve. That's number one. Two, we're going to end fractional reserve banking, which is the power of banks to create money. And what does that do? One of the things it does is um, a banker can tell a congressman, do what I say, and you will never have any of your checks bounce. Yeah, yeah. You behave, do what I say, your checks won't bounce. You're never going to run out of money. Uh, so I've had that offer made to me, and I told them to go fuck themselves. That's right there. Uh, I did it silently. I just had the phone in my hand, and I just hung up on the guy. Gave him the Bell telephone dial tone, and you new kids, you probably don't know what a dial tone is, but that's what he got, and in his ear, and it took him a while. It took him a while to run me. I needed help in my business, and from then on, no help from the bankers. In fact, I thought the one banker was going to help. I would meet with him, talk with him. He was very uh, agreeable to what I was saying. But then, at a deposition of the Small Business Administration, uh, one of the officers there told what was going on. I almost collapsed and went under the table. We were sitting there. It was just exactly the opposite of what the man was telling me. You know what we do in the South? We stab people in the back. We won't face them right off and shoot them in the face. We shoot them in the back. And that's what this fucker did to me. Then, the third thing that the NEAT Act does after nationalizing the Federal Reserve, putting it in the Treasury, and ending the power of banks to create money, It spends money into the economy for the things we need, like healthcare, like education, like transportation, like infrastructure, everything that we need. UBI health. If minimum wage had kept up with increase in productivity since the 1950s, minimum wage would be 50 grand a year, $50,000 a year. We ought to be able to have that as a basic income, the floor between below which we let nobody fall. What would that do to your life? How would you like that? You wouldn't have to do a job that you didn't want to do if you could live on $50,000 a year. A lot of people can't. They got to have 100, and because they got to have that new Mercedes. Well, they could get along with a Ford Pinto, okay? That I guess we don't have Ford Pintos anymore. And so, anyway, looks like I've been on 11 minutes. And so, okay, we get nationalize the Federal Reserve, Treasury, and fractional reserve banking, and spend money into the economy. Money that's created as an asset. All money now is created as a debt. When a banker loans you money to buy that new car you want, he doesn't have that money. Okay, he creates it the instant he does this on his computer, and tells you, John, look in your bank account, you'll see that money you need. It's there, and it is, and he can buy that new car, and that gives him great power. So what does the banker want to do to increase his business? He wants to loan money, and how does he do that? Uh, for us coming in for the things we need, and the government coming to each one of us and saying what they need, or to the banker and say we need this. You know, the treasury bills that are introduced, and they buy them. There are there are 21 uh, there are 21 uh, primary dealer banks that their job is to buy all the debt of the federal government. And whenever the treasuries put up for sale, they buy them. Then, of course, they're on the open market and they can be sold. And actually, that's when the Federal Reserve buys them back. Federal Reserve, up until real recently, hadn't been able to buy treasuries directly, but they buy them off of the people that the primary dealer banks that buy them directly, and they buy them off the people that they're sold to, or those primary banks. They can sell them all to the Federal Reserve. So, anyway, money is really not complicated to understand. When you get past the economists who try to make it hard to understand, to justify their bullshit, and we need to we need to take control of the power to create money, because that is the power to determine the culture we need. You know, we got to buy uh, uh, military equipment. That's a that's one of the one of the ways that we keep the economy running. Hell, in Oklahoma, where I live, uh, it's oil, agriculture, and military. That's what supports our economy. Got several military bases here, and there's no telling what kind of weapons that Boeing and Lockheed are building up at Tinker Field. No telling. Those fuckers, those people that work there, do not talk. They just come down and use our restaurants and have a good time and things, but they're building weapons of destruction, of murder, that are killing real people, innocent people, all the time. And so we can. create a culture that doesn't require the bankers to make loans, um, or us to make loans. We could have free housing, free transportation. We won't be able to have to buy cars anymore. We'll have automatic Ubers, uh, no driver in them. That you punch on your button on your phone. Tell the car company or the car agency, I should say, well, where you going to go, how long you're going to be there, how many people are going to be involved, and the car will show up that you need and take you there. You're not going to have to pay insurance. You're not going to have to pay car payments. You're not going to have to do maintenance. You're not going to have to do anything that you have to do now to keep a car. And all the things that you have to do that keeps the banker in control of your life. Because if you don't make the payments and you don't maintain the car and you don't buy the tag, uh, you don't have a car, and the banker will have it and put you out on the street. You'll have bad credit. And you won't be able to buy another fucking car, and that's how you're controlled. Uh, uh, you get a UBI of 50 grand a year. If you can design your life to fit on that, uh, you and your wife, that's 100 grand a year. I'm thinking most people ought to be able to live fairly well on that, uh, and can choose who they want to work for, what they want to do, and and their profession and occupation. Uh, and you got a base there. Everything else above that $100,000 is gravy for you, and you can figure out a really productive life to live, not the life that you're forced into living. We can change this whole damn culture, and that's what the NEED Act does. So NEEDACT, NEED Act. Put a hashtag in front of it, make it all one word, and Google it, and you'll come up with the videos that I have made and others have made. And so I think I will stop now. I've been at this for 18 minutes, and I will see you again soon, dear friend.